from a source that is to remain completely anonymous, meaning unknown. Here's exactly how a VSR, and from here on out, we're just going to say VA rater, decides what disability percentage to give your claim, and you're not going to be happy about it, probably. So what actually happens is from your C&P exam, all the information for your claim is put into the system, and we'll kind of leave that at face value. The VA uses for disability compensation, and that system automatically spits out what percentage the rater should allocate. Now, we are assuming the claimed condition is going to be service-connected. Now, I want you to picture this like a test in high school where you do all the bubbles, it gets scanned, and then bam, your percentage for your test is given to you right then and there. It's automatic. Same exact concept. Now, for the VA rater, they have 3 options, and this is extremely important to understand because it leads to the big takeaway of this entire video in the first place. Option number 1, the rater can agree with the recommendation from the system and move about their day, okay? Option number 2 is the rater can go below the recommendation that the system puts out, but they will need a justification to do so. Justification meaning evidence. Option number 3 is the rater can go above the recommendation, but again, they will need a justification for doing so. Now, I don't want to go too deep into this, but we all know, and if you don't know, you're about to know, that VA raters' quality is based on how many claims they can process. Therefore, VA raters have a time quota. Now, let's just think about this here for a second, okay? VA raters are regular people, probably GS 9 through 11, maybe 12, and I'm totally guessing, by the way, but they are able to make a living, but they're definitely not getting rich, all right? Normal people. You're at work, and your performance bonuses, how good of an employee you are, is based on a time quota of processing claims. How long does it take you to process claims? When an information technology system or an IT system gives a recommendation on what percentage to give, are you going to make a few clicks and agree with whatever the system puts out? Or are you going to spend the time on every single claim and read all the evidence with that particular claim? Now, I don't want to give raters a bad rep, but think about that as if you were the rater doing a typical 9 to 5. Which option are you going to choose? I'm going to be honest with you. I'm choosing option number 1, okay? The reason I wanted to bring this to your attention is for 2 reasons, and they are connected together like yin and yang. You can't have one without the other. It is extremely important. They are the C&P exam and your medical evidence, critical parts of your VA disability claim process. If you do not understand or know where your medical evidence is, or even what it says, you are going to be at the whim of the C&P examiner, and that's just fact. That can either be good or bad, but looking at the numbers, I'm betting on bad because C&P examiners, you know, they're not the greatest end-all be-all exams. When a veteran truly understands their condition, their symptoms, where they should be rated at on 38 CFR, and again, we are assuming service connection here, then when the examiner asks you those questions from the DBQ and continues to complete the DBQ, you can only not answer those questions in full, but point to where your evidence is exactly. Hey, in 2011, I was seen during a health assessment for my lower back, right? Now the C&P examiner can go, oh, thank you for that, and look through your records. You're kind of walking the dog, if you will. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. Then you say, well, even if I do that, even if I know my evidence and I go through the C&P exam, the C&P examiner could put whatever they want and send that in, which is completely true, and it sucks. There's really no remedy for that at all. But we still have hope. And the best example I can use for this is migraines. Migraines is one of the most common service-connected conditions that come back at 0%. Come on, relax. As I was saying, I don't got chickens, I got babies. Okay, that's a joke for Veterans Info tab. Migraines commonly come back at 0%, and veterans are forced to go the HLR route to correct the percentage awarded, and this happens all the time. Okay, all the time. In fact, I had to do this exact thing when I submitted my migraine claim, came back at 0, had to do an HLR. But the higher level review only works if the veteran has the evidence. So what happened in that scenario? The C&P examiner completed the VA's request. It was put into the system. The system recommended 0% because the C&P examiner probably sucked, okay? The rater is just trying to get through their 9 to 5, and lo and behold, you are service connected, which is good, but at 0%, thus leading us to the higher level review. I know, tell them, submit evidence. She's saying submit evidence-based claims. I'm going to translate for her, okay? What you should take away from this is the importance of medical evidence and documenting your symptoms, because veterans can lean on medical evidence. It's our safety net. However, veterans cannot lean on hearsay or statements, and you're really going to see statements shine in the Board of Appeals. But I'm telling you, you're not going to want to send your claims to the Board of Appeals unless you absolutely have to. That's the last option. In my opinion, that's whenever you start considering the attorney route. But for this system that spits out that rating, you need to make it as easy as you possibly can. This is the framework every veteran should have. Make it as easy as you possibly can for not only the C&P examiner, but that VA rater. Have your evidence lined up. Me personally, I prefer a PDF file. If I'm filing for lower back, I'm going to have a PDF file in 3 sections. One will be the in-service event, and all my evidence from service, both medical and evidence other than medical, is going to be crammed in there, exactly annotated where this evidence is at. The second section is going to be my current evidence, my current diagnosis, any treatment I have, whether that's private or VA, especially if it's private, we're going to upload those records. So if that's physical therapy, injections, right, you're getting doctor-ordered massages, which are an amazing benefit, by the way. All of that will be in there. And then, of course, if you have any medical evidence that would link the Nexus, throw that in there. But really, the C&P examiner is going to bridge the gap between the in-service event and the current diagnosis, thus creating the Nexus, which is linking that condition, in this case, lower back, to your military service. You need to have that evidence lined up for the examiner, for the VSR. So when they rely on a system that spits out, 20%, you have your evidence, bada bing, bada boom, everything's good to go.